Welcome to Jeff's Reviews. Today I'm taking a look at the Kinkaju Bottle Cutter. Kinkaju Bottle Cutter is just that, it cuts bottles. You can see I've got a whole bunch here. These are root beer bottles. This is the top tool root beer bottle. This is like a cream soda, orange soda, root beer, IBC. The bottles do have to be round to cut them with this. This is just the general bottle cutter kit. They have ones that come with like stems and light fixtures, but this was just the basic one. Comes with 2 rubber rings when you're separating the bottle. The Kinkaju Bottle Cutter itself has a cutting wheel, all these rollers here, levers to tighten this up and down, and this lever drops the cutting wheel down. Also comes with a little tool for breaking a little piece of glass, the instructions, of course, and some sandpaper to sand the rough edges. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple. I've cut some odd things like vases. I've cut wine bottles, sake bottles. What I want to do is make a whole bunch of these like this, the bottle in the bottle, for hydroponic gardening. And what I'll do is I'll fill this with a soilless soil, these little clay beads, and put a plant inside it. And so what I've been doing is getting a lot of these root beer bottles. And I'll go ahead and show you. One thing you want to do is wear safety glasses when you're using this, and work with leather gloves. It's just for safety, so you don't hurt yourself. And it's actually pretty simple. You got to clean the bottle off. You got to get this labels off of it. And I pre-adjusted this one. I'll show you how to adjust it in a second. This one, you just put the bottle in, you put the blade where you want to cut it, you drop the blade down, and then you just carefully roll the bottle. And once you get a little practice, you can get where you made a really good cut. The biggest thing is to roll the bottle smoothly around so that the start of your cut and the end of your cut meets. And I've been doing this for a little while now, and you can see some of the ones here, but I've found that it's a pretty easy tool to use. It's that simple. You can pretty much watch where you're turning it and see how easy it is to, and I didn't lift the cutting blade there. You can pretty much see how easy it is, and then the second part of the process is actually separating the glass. I'll show you here. To adjust it, you just leave this open, tighten these down. They should be both the same distance here and here, here and here. And then the bottle should roll easily. Put these down. That's pretty good. And this is actually a teriyaki sauce bottle. I've been scouring the supermarket for various bottles to use. And that's a pretty good cut. Now what I'm going to do, I normally do this in the sink, but just to show it here on a better video so you can see what I'm doing. But when you pour hot and cold water, it shrinks and heats, it cools and heats the bottle, the glass, and eventually what it does is it induces a crack where you've scoured the bottle or scored the bottle. So when you're doing this with hot and cold water, pour it on the bottle, you want to have something where the bottle drops into, like a bath mat or a sink mat, and you just put this silicone ring around a quarter to half inch away from where you've scored the bottle. And what this does is helps prevent the bottle from cracking where you don't want it to. It keeps the hot water especially right where the crack or your score line is, because the bottle has stresses other places from like manufacturing and shipping, and you want to try to keep the hot water and the cold water in this area. And I've got some hot water I just boiled, and you just slowly pour a little of the hot water on. And grab some, this is cold water, it's not vodka. You just pour a little of the cold water, and you can actually see the crack develop into the glass when you watch it. And then sometime here it'll just, most of the time it just falls right off from the weight of the bottle after it's cracked enough. Every once in a while I've actually just bumped the glass like that, and it comes apart. And that's a really easy, simple bottle cutter. It's a pretty smooth line. Sometimes you don't get quite as smooth. I got some here that's not quite even around. Every once in a while you'll get one that has a big bump on it, and that's what this tool is for. You just chip the tool away. I'll go ahead and do another bottle. This one I scored down here. Now I'll do this one. This one I can have a short bottom. And what you can do is you can score, a dozen, 15 bottles, and then it usually takes, for regular root beer bottles and stuff like that, it's not too much water. Some of the thicker, like wine bottles, you might have to put a little bit more water on it, like a cup. So sometimes you'll have to go through a little bit more water. This has gotten to be a very interesting project. It's taken a little longer than I wanted, and I apologize to Kinkaju. I was going to try to have some hydroponics done by now, but it just didn't work out because I'm not quite sure of what I'm doing with the hydroponics. I had to order more things than I thought I would. But here I'm just heating and cooling the bottle with hot and cold water. And eventually it'll go ahead and separate somewhere. That was my dog's going nuts. And you want to use almost boiling water, or just boiled water, because the more you heat and cool the bottle, the better it'll separate. And that one's pretty much through. You can tell after you practice a while how well it does. And there you can see the bottle didn't cut or didn't crack right where I wanted it to. But I can go ahead and use that even though it's a little off. Adds character to what I'm doing. And you want to be careful, this is why you wear the gloves, is because you're dealing with shards of glass. And this tool, like I could use this for a little cup, little like thumbtack cup or something like that. You can use this tool to break off the little chips. And then you can sand it down. Now what I do for sanding is they do come with sandpaper, and you still want to wear the gloves. You just take the sandpaper. This one you can see I've used to cut up a little bit. You just take the sandpaper and go like that. And it does sand off the rough edge. And when you do that, you're actually wrapping the sandpaper around the edges a little bit on the outside. If you want to get more of a rounded, you can put the sandpaper at more of an angle. To get the inside, that's pretty much why I've ripped up these, is going like this to get the inside. What I've found though, and with this tool you have to use a dust mask because you're working with glass, is this is a knife sharpener that's a little belt sander. And you can go like that and do a little faster sanding. And you can see I got some shards of glass on the table. I'll clean that up. I've also found that I'm cutting the necks off of bottles like here, and to do that I'm not using the Kinkaju, I'm using an actual pipe cutter that I've replaced the pipe cutting blade with a tile cutting blade, and that works pretty well. It gets a pretty good score line. It's not as good as this because this is actually designed better, and I'm cutting on an angled surface. But the Kinkaju Bottle Cutter works really well. It's a really neat tool. I've had a lot of fun using it. It's really simple to use. No guesswork about getting the straight line. You pretty much a couple times, and I was able to get pretty decently straight lines. And fooled around doing glass rings. That was really tough to do. As you can see, it's cracked. But it's a really cool tool. I'm not sure if I would use these for like wine glasses without a lot of sanding on the edges and get it really nice and smooth. But I'm going to use these for little hydroponic gardens. You can use them for little cups, pen, pencil holders. I've got 4 or 5 of them at work for holding tools. It's just a really cool tool. The Kinkaju, this small set, costs $50 at bottlecutting.com. The company does sell some bigger sets, like I said, with the little inserts to use them as globes for lights or bottoms for stemware for like wine glasses. But that's the Kinkaju Bottle Cutter. It's a really fun tool for crafting. I really highly recommend it. I'll have the full review at justreviews.com. Thank you very much.